The 2008 Wimbledon men's singles final was the third in succession between Roger Federer and Rafael Nadal. Strokes of Genius, documentary on 2008 Wimbledon men's singles final. Watch, BBC Two. Sunday, 8th of July, 1820 BST. John McEnroe describes it as the greatest match ever played and, 10 years on, the 2008 Wimbledon final between Rafael Nadal and Roger Federer remains the high point of a rivalry that continues to dominate tennis. The final, played out over nearly 7 hours because of rain delays, ended with a 22-year-old Nadal finally dethroning Federer, holding off a thrilling fight back from the five-time champion to win 6-4, 6-4, 6-7, 5-7, 6-7, 8-10, 9-7 as darkness descended on an enraptured center court. It was the last of 3 successive Wimbledon finals between two players who have won a combined 37 Grand Slam titles. They have not met at Wimbledon since but, incredibly, will go into this year's tournament ranked 1 and 2 in the world, having split the past 6 slams between them. Here, BBC Sport speaks to 4 people who witnessed an extraordinary occasion. 7-time Grand Slam champion McEnroe, who commentated on the match for NBC, umpire Pascal Maria, longtime Wimbledon locker room attendant Doug Dixon, and Jonathan Overend, the BBC's tennis correspondent from 2003 to 2013. This is how they saw the greatest match. Nadal was edging closer but still Federer was the king. On July 6, 2008, the day of the match, Federer was a month short of his 27th birthday and had spent 231 consecutive weeks as world number 1. 4 weeks earlier, he destroyed Federer at Roland Garros, winning 6-1, 6-3, 6-0 for his 4th consecutive French Open title. But Nadal was close to toppling him. Could the Swiss recover to take revenge on his favored surface? Federer had beaten Nadal in 4 sets in the 2006 Wimbledon final, and 5 sets 12 months later. Both men were playing for a slice of history, Nadal trying to become the first man to win the French Open and Wimbledon back-to-back since Bjorn Borg in 1980. Federer attempting to go ahead of Borg by winning a 6th consecutive Wimbledon. It was also the last match played on center court before a roof was installed, so the circumstances, with repeated rain interruptions, and a final finishing at twilight, are unlikely to be repeated. Jonathan Overend, everybody was wondering whether this was going to be the day Federer's great Wimbledon reign came to an end. It was beautifully set up. Doug Dixon, Roger was his usual calm, collected self. Nadal was edging closer but still Federer was the king. If he was nervous, he did not show it. Rafa was also his usual self, a tiny bit on edge, which was due, I think, to the weather. Rain delayed the scheduled 1400-hour start by 35 minutes. And the first point set the tone, a superb 14-stroke rally with both players moving each other round the court until Nadal whipped a forehand down the line. The Spaniard broke serve first, in the third game. As he served for the set at 5-4, Federer created 2 break-back opportunities but they were fought off, the younger man getting the job done on his third set point. Media playback is not supported on this device. Nadal wins first set against Federer in 2008 Wimbledon final. There was always that sense Federer would come back. Federer came back firing in the second set, breaking Nadal's serve at the first opportunity by whipping a vicious cross-court forehand winner and establishing a 4-1 lead. But he could not capitalize and Nadal won 5 games in a row to go 2 sets to love up. Joe, I remember how well Nadal was moving, how cleanly he was striking the ball, how well he was serving. In those first 2 sets Federer knew this was going to be his toughest Wimbledon final yet. But there was always that sense that Federer would come back. Even at 2 sets to love, I don't think anybody saw it as being over, simply because of Federer's experience on that court. Media playback is not supported on this device. Nadal wins second set against Federer in 2008 Wimbledon final. Federer had never faced a challenge on this scale in his previous Wimbledon finals. Dark clouds were gathering overhead as he failed to convert 4 further break points in the 6th game of the third set. At 16:51, With Federer leading 5-4, the rain started falling and the players left the court. At 3-3, Federer was down 0-40 but won 5 straight points. During the first rain break, Roger went into the physio room and lay down on one of the beds. Rafa retaped his fingers and had a mobile CD player plugged in. Pascal Maria, I went in an office and sat down and did not turn my phone on at all. I talked to different guys in there very quietly, not talking about the tennis, not talking about what could happen next or what did happen. It was more than an hour before the rain relented and the covers came off. At 18-11, play resumed with the third set, and potentially the match about to be decided. 3 service holds took it into a tie break. Federer seized the initiative with a couple of trademark fizzing forehands to go 5-2 up and closed out the set with an ace that was greeted with a huge roar from the crowd. The rain delay probably woke me up, Federer, speaking in the Strokes of Genius documentary, said. My problem was I had lost in the French Open final a month earlier against Rafa in a terrible way. So when I went into the Wimbledon final, I felt like, oh my god, this is going to be really difficult. He crushed me. I think it took me 2 sets to shake it off and I believe that rain delay probably woke me up. I said, if you're going to go out of this match, at least you're going to go down swinging. Media playback is not supported on this device. Roger Federer seals third set with ace. The fourth set went with serve. Federer served to stay in the match at 4-5. With excitement levels rising the longer it went. At 0-30, he was again on the precipice but 4 straight points allowed him to escape and prompted chants of Roger, Roger. It had been gripping enough but, with the time approaching 19:30, the match was about to go to another level in a tie-break of astonishing drama. The nature of the way we do the radio commentary is one of us does sets 1, 3 and 5. Joe, that was just an unbelievable tie-break. We have a little bench at the back of our commentary box which I was sitting on. My colleague Alistair Rickon did sets 2 and 4. I was absolutely transfixed. Of course, part of you is hoping you get a 5th set because you'll be the commentator for it, but on the other hand you know you're watching a great final and potentially a new champion. Nadal was so close to finishing it there and all those emotions were going on. As well as being there working, you're there as a fan as well, thinking, this is too good. Nadal went 5-2 ahead with 2 serves to come. A first Wimbledon title was on his racket but suddenly the Spaniard's left arm was gripped with tension, a double fault and netted backhand bringing the tie-break back on serve at 5-4. Nadal had a championship point at 7-6 but couldn't do anything with a powerful Federer serve. Federer had a set point at 6-5 but missed a forehand. At 7-7, somehow, from way behind the baseline, Nadal whipped a forehand down the line that left the champion grasping at thin air. It was a staggering shot. He had a second championship point, this time on his serve, but it was Federer's turn to come up with breathtaking inspiration, a nerveless backhand down the line. In his BBC commentary, Andrew Castle said, the 2 best passing shots of the tournament, without doubt, have just taken place on the last 2 points. The next 2 points saw a Federer forehand winner and missed Nadal return. The roars grew louder. Media playback is not supported on this device. Federer levels match after thrilling 4th set tiebreak. John McEnroe, what made the final so great was a combination of things. It was 2 sets all. It was obviously the players, the magnitude of the situation, playing the Wimbledon final, and certainly the way it panned out. The battle that Roger was having with Rafa but also with himself, squandering the lead in the second set and getting way down and then having to pull out 2 sets in the tie-break. Joe, if ever there was a tie-break to prove Federer's champion quality. The greatest pull out their greatest shots when it really matters, and that's what Federer did. It was that one. That felt absolutely massive, him winning that tie-break. PM. 2 incredible players playing an incredible match. You cannot be screaming or clapping but you can deeply enjoy it. I can remember a few points in that match and inside I was saying, wow, what a great shot or what a great point. The match went into a final set but, as is Wimbledon tradition, this one would not be decided by a tie-break. Federer would have the advantage of serving first. Nadal had to clear his mind after failing to convert 2 championship points. But I wasn't going to fail. Nadal, speaking in strokes of genius, said, I could lose the final. I'd be ready to compete till the end. Federer could win, but I wasn't going to lose. Nadal wasn't going anywhere, Joe. All bets were off by that point. The momentum was with Federer because he'd won the 4th set. History was with Federer because he was the 5-time champion, but there was still this unknown of what Nadal was going to offer in the decider. Only a fool would have written him off. He had played so well to that point. It was clear in the early games, even though Federer was serving first, that Nadal wasn't going anywhere. At 1953, with the decider poised at 2-2, deuce, the rain came again. It looked like they would be coming back on Monday to finish it, but it would prove a short interruption. The players went off and the covers came across. Half an hour later, they resumed with, realistically, a maximum of an hour's playable light left. The quality and intensity would never drop, the 2 men throwing all they had at each other. It was heart-stopping stuff. I was fortunate enough that people talked about my match with Bjorn in 1980 as one of the great matches. But I was watching the 2008 final and sitting back and saying to myself, this is the best match I've ever seen at Wimbledon. Towards the end, I was virtually not saying anything in the commentary box. I thought what I was witnessing was so great and the players were rising to the occasion. Anyone watching could tell it was going to be a match that people would talk about for generations to come. When it is that good, you sort of kick back and put your arms back. The match moved into its 5th hour. To me, that's an easy gig when you're watching a match like that. At 4-4, Federer earned a break point, but Nadal saved it with a big forehand and follow-up smash. At 5-5, Nadal got to 15-40 on the Federer serve, but the Swiss repelled him. Roger and Rafa were ringing out simultaneously. The light was fading fast. With the clock having ticked past 2100 hours, Nadal won a thrilling point to hold for 7-7. Federer somehow flicked a ferocious Nadal smash onto the baseline, but the Spaniard put away a forehand and, with adrenaline coursing through his body, celebrated with a huge fist pump. Would they have to stop there? I was sent out about 21:10 for the Charlie Pizarro-Pancho Gonzalez match in 1969, the second longest singles match in Wimbledon history, and you could hardly see the white balls. It was the same that day. The supervisor could not believe they were still playing. Joe, I always think television gives a false impression because of the filters. I went down about 2100 hours and thought they have to call this soon. When it got to 7-7, it was absolutely obvious there were 2 more games left. You had to be there to appreciate how dark it was in those final games. They wanted to bring them off at a level score. It would have been unfair to call them back with one person serving for the match or serving to stay in the match. Obviously it was getting dark and the Hawkeye went off because of the darkness. I think the players were so much into it that they did not even realize. Neither of the players mentioned it before the match ended. We agreed with the referee, Andrew Jarrett, that we would have to stop the match at 8-8. Federer finally faltered when serving at 7-7. Although he saved 3 break points in the game, he couldn't stave off a 4th as a forehand floated long and Nadal had the decisive break. After the change of ends, Nadal came out to serve for the championship in what was going to be the final game of the day whatever happened. He brought up a 3rd championship point, but Federer raged against the dying of the light, firing a backhand return that Nadal could barely get a racket on. It was to prove his last salvo. 2 points later he sent a forehand into the net and Nadal collapsed onto the grass in celebration. Finally, after 4 hours and 48 minutes of compelling theater, Wimbledon had a new champion. Media playback is not supported on this device. Nadal wins 2008 Wimbledon title in final set. To me, it was the greatest match I'd ever watched. The greatest match ever played anywhere. Joe, it was like nothing we've seen before. There have been some great Wimbledon finals, but it was the intensity I remember from that final that really stays with me. The ability of these two men to bring out the big shots when it really mattered. Most winners have beer and champagne. Rafa, his uncle Tony and physio Rafael Mamo had ice cream, that's how they celebrated. Joe, it was 10 p.m. by the time we went behind the scenes for the press conferences and the interviews. I remember getting changed into my dinner jacket in the toilet at Wimbledon, so by the time I interviewed Nadal, I could be hot-footing it to central London to get to the champions' dinner. In true old-school, pre-war BBC tradition, I interviewed the champion, Nadal, in a bow tie. I was super concentrated over hours, so I couldn't get some sleep before 4-5 am. It was a tough Monday. Then I had to wake up really early to catch a plane. But how lucky I am to be the official of that match. It's great that nobody remembers me in a way, but being part of this match and having the best seat in the stadium is just something unforgettable. The 2008 final remains the longest in Wimbledon history. Will they meet again? 10 years on? BBC tennis correspondent Russell Fuller: I am sure there are very many people fervently hoping history repeats itself. Federer and Nadal have split the past 6 Grand Slam titles, but have not met in a Slam final since that extraordinary drama in Melbourne in January of last year. Nadal is the world number 1, but will be seeded second because he cannot match Federer's exploits on grass in recent years. However, 2018 could be different, especially if his decision to skip Queen's Club was the sign of a man who trusts his body and his game. But calculated his Wimbledon chances would increase with a few extra days rest. In contrast, Federer needed matches after an 11-week break from the tour. He extended his grass-court winning streak to 20 by winning the title in Stuttgart and reaching the final in Halle. But that's where Borna Coric sprang a surprise, and we now wonder who might be waiting in the wings at Wimbledon to spoil Federer's and Nadal's 10th anniversary reunion. Additional reporting from Russell Fuller and Jonathan Jurejko at WebKit. Keyframe spinner rotate, from WebKit transform rotate 0 dig, to WebKit transform rotate 360 dig, at Moz keyframe spinner rotate, from Moz transform rotate 0 dig, to Moz transform rotate 360 dig, at Moz keyframe spinner rotate, from Moz transform rotate 0 dig, to Moz transform rotate 360 dig. BBC News Visual Journalism loading spinner, display, block, margin, 10px auto, width, 33px, height, 33px, max width, 33px, WebKit animation name, spinner rotate, WebKit animation duration, 5s, WebKit animation iteration count, infinite, WebKit animation timing function, linear, Moz animation name, spinner rotate, Moz animation duration, 5s, Moz animation iteration count, infinite, Moz animation timing function, linear, Moz animation name, spinner rotate, Moz animation duration, 5s, Moz animation iteration count, infinite, Moz animation timing function, linear, background image, URL data image / gif base 64, R0 godlicomamb / dw8 bakikajia forge app /c1 nukbx 1 qpd 94 gja 2 v0 agils 2 lupslavu 78 iglpsjx new 0 xpsvn 60 origin jalki pz4 gphg 6 1 wbw v0 4 bxh 4 psjhzg 9 is IGDP 4 BXP0 S0 Ikrvmug1 Keen Kmugens 4 Zlmteg NJ Yumtk 1 NJ Xlkm DLZ Zatul 0 Oju 2 OG3 I Kajak Hypia 8 CMRM Uldrib 4 BXHSPs G9 M0 DAS 6 Line 93 D3 Cuds Mub 3 J Nls 5 Otkv Div MJ Kmar MLXN 5 BN Rec 1 Asimi Pia 8 CMRM OKRLC 2 NIAXP 0 on 9 ZJPH 291 DD0 IB 4 BX 4 BX9M 0 DAS6 line 9 C5 HZG 9 as 5 JB20 Vagwell ZMKD 5 Xeonx 1 PSJDROI 8 VBN MA IRVMOE 29 TL3 HHCC 8 TEX LJ AV 0 VIB 4 BX ZJ0 IR 0 C DAVL 25 ZLMFKB 2 JLLMN VBS 94 XAVMS 4 WL3 Nukes Bull 1 JLC 291 CMNL VME IGEG 1 WOK NISW 0 B3 JUB 29 SPS JBZG 9 ISB CAG 90 B3 NOB 3 AG 1 M2 AG YW NAR VC 2 GPIB 4 BXBNT TPJBNN 0 EW5 JZU LEPS 4 BXOU WLK OJ FAT KUTGZMUKM JEXRT form do 3 RTH BRKXM JIOE 4 BXBNT TPEB 2 N1 BVU DELAS 4 BXOUS GLUKOJ FAT KUTG 0 MDLC MJXRT form do 3 RTH BRKXM JIOE 4 GFS 1 NOC RLCML2ZWRGCM910 VMMLUK 3RHBM NLSUK 9 and 5 POC 6 MU 5 NZANADU WIMTFNJF GINJ 4 RJIIN 0 VM v3 VTZW 50 SUK 9 and 5 COC 6 MU 5 NZANADU WIMTFNJF GINJ 4 RJLZ 4 GPC 9 G6 RGVZ 3 JPC HRPB 24 plus IDWKMAR M Uldridge 4 GPC 94 on Guanj plus IDW B2 TLDC BLBMQ9 INAPZ 4B//79 PV6 plus FJ39 VX08 LX80 U7 ISR 6 UNO 5 plus BL5 OPA 4 EDF3 T3 C29 RZ2 NFW1 DTT0 THQZ87 NZMV KIXX8 LBWL plus V7 RAM 4 T7A1 LOISB CVRQ2 SQ6 UPQ Campus Jock GGN 5060 NJUAM ZZLPUK 5 Kirky plus OJE LIOME 4A FIAGIB FN 18 E3 P5 EHD2 DXRZC NFWB 25 TB WHN ZMVK2 JIF 9 XFXBLIV 1 ZVNSAV 1 MZ 0 PJSEDGR KFEBS 49 PDS 6 OTG3 JU 0 MZXMK DALZRKKO GMI FH0 C XOZG FRKTAG form DASK GIBWE BA plus KA AQUA AKA A0 VJSGORN 3 AG0 MI KOKOF 6 Q5 JC LIGS CZW DRUTKI SJ $I 4A low NXXBCGL at JOF GUF SEEK KRUXKIDOIP 20 AV DAFEF VB8 ZEGDSKUJZO DQ plus 87 Egenip XLPNVHIKI 4 WUD 3 plus BJIF 3 XP5 Forden GUGSKEF GDM JAM 2 Zvikrst 1 AJUMPHI 3 K7 DRIPSI UK SEEK 2 KFG PIVUA OSK TUNRTIK 4 RICHSKIBJ NAPKM 7 O GAKES JZBOSPIKA 7. Click to see content. Federer _Nadal _slams _by_year